This is a recording for AAT Advanced Diploma Synoptic Assessment, Sample Assessment 2. As I've got the file open, I'm doing task 2.1. I'm going to go to View, New Window, Arrange All, Vertical. So I've got my exercises on the left and I can do the work on the right. Remember, it is the same workbook. It's just enabling me to do it simultaneously. As with any of your assessments, make sure that you read all scenarios and all tasks carefully and ensure that you understand what's being asked of you. So, task 2.1, you are Chris Makepeace, a part qualified accounting technician. You work for New Place, a business which retails office equipment. New Place is owned and run by Mo Hussein. You cover all aspects of the bookkeeping and accounting for the business. New Place also uses services of Uddo & Co., a firm of accountants. Kira Jackson is the accountant at Uddo & Co. who carries out the tasks at New Place. Today's date is the 28th of March 08. New Place holds inventory of office equipment. It has 3 separate stores. Identical product lists have been used to perform a stock take at each store. The results are shown in the worksheets labelled Store 1, Store 2, Store 3. Mo Hussein wants to identify high value of items in inventory and also the value of inventory that New Place holds from non-furniture suppliers, NFS. You must save the spreadsheet in the appropriate location and rename it using the following format: your initials, dash, surname, dash, AAT number, dash, date, full stop, month, full stop, year, dash, task 2.1. Now, in your exam, it may not be like this, but they will tell you exactly how they want it saved, and you must make sure you save it exactly how they've asked, as you will be marked for this. So let me save mine. And you must make sure that it is saved in Excel format. So if it says Excel here, good. If it doesn't, then you must do full stop XLS. That will guarantee it's being saved as an Excel spreadsheet. It is important that a high degree of accuracy is done when doing Excel. So, exercise A, open your renamed spreadsheet in the worksheet called Summary. So I'm going to go to Summary. Let's make that bigger so we can all see. It says column B needs to show the quantity of each inventory item that New Place holds in total across the 3 stores. So I need to do a formula, so I'm going to do equals store 1 added to store 2 added to store 3. And when I'm done, I'm pressing enter. The reason why I can do it this way is they've said that the worksheets are identical. Because they're identical, I don't need to worry about sorting or anything like that. And I want to make sure that 132 is correct. So if I go to store 1, 40 plus 50 is 90 plus 42 is definitely 132. That tells me I've done the spreadsheet correctly. So I can replicate down by left click hold, or I could flash fill by double clicking. All I need to do is just check it has done it to the very end of the spreadsheet. Use the copy and paste link on the data. Do not use consolidate function from the worksheets of each of the 3 stores so that column B shows the total number of each item. I've done that because I've replicated down. In column D of the same worksheet, use a formula to calculate the total cost of each inventory item and show the total cost of all inventory held. So this is what I hold, and this is how much each one is. So I'm going to do equals, open bracket, 132, which is B3, multiplied by the £1.80, which is C3, close bracket, enter. If I get my calculator, go 132 times 180 gives me that. I know I've done that right. I can replicate down and just check it's come down to the bottom. Task A is now complete. before I lose it, I want to save it. So I'm going to go save. B. In the summary worksheet, I want to freeze row 1 and 2 of the headings so that the headings remain visible when scrolling down. So let's go up. Now, as I want 1 and 2 rows frozen, I need to be on row 3. To freeze it, I'm going to go to View. I'm going to open this up so you can see where I'm going. And I'm going to click on Freeze Panes. Now, there's no line. When I click on Freeze Pane, you'll see that there's a line there. That tells you where the screen is frozen. Now, if I scroll out, you'll see that 1 and 2 is remaining stagnant. That means I've done that task correctly. It also says to identify the high value items of inventory in cell C76, I need to enter a formula that will count the number of items where the cost of a single item of inventory exceeds £800. So they're asking me to count. Now, count will only count the cells. Count A will count, let me show you. So we've got count, count A, count blank, count if, count ifs. Count will only count the numbers. Any cells with numbers, it will count those cells. So if I've got 500, 400, 300, that's 3 cells because they've got numbers in them. Count A will count letters and numbers. Count blank will count any empty cells. Count if is the one that we want because we want to count something if there's more than this or there's more than that. Whenever you see range, that's basically where to where do you want to count from. So I want to count from C75 all the way up to C3. So my range is from C3 to C75. And what is it that I want to count? Well, I want to count anything that's over £800, so more than 800. If I press done, it's telling me it's 3. So let's look. 1, 2, 3. So yep, that means my formula is correct and it's counted the right thing. Okay, that's task B done. Let me save it before I lose it. An analysis is required of the value of inventory that New Place holds for non-furniture supplies NFS. For all inventory items in the summary worksheet, except for any items supplied by DJ, we need to insert a pivot chart and table into a new worksheet. We need to produce a pivot chart of the total inventory costs for these suppliers. So I need a pivot chart and table. So I'm going to highlight my data, scroll down. I'm not going to include the bottom one because that is no data. So I need to make sure that when I'm selecting my data, I'm selecting the information I need. As I want to insert a pivot chart and table, I will go to Insert. And then here to Pivot. It said that it wants it on a new sheet, so I'm going to click OK. And there is my pivot table, and there's my pivot table fields. So let's read this again. An analysis is required for the value of inventory that New Place holds from non-furniture suppliers. Inventory items in the summary worksheet except any items by DJ Furniture. So insert a pivot chart and a pivot table into the new worksheet. Produce a pivot chart of the total inventory cost for these suppliers. So I know I need inventory cost. So that's this. But I need to go and have a look. What does inventory cost have? It's got money. As it's got money, the inventory total cost should go in values, and I just want to make sure it says sum. It's then saying for the suppliers, so I need the suppliers. Now, remember, if you do it in columns, that's the y-axis. If you do it in rows, that's the x-axis. So you need to think, where do I want the suppliers? Do I want them going across or down? I think it would look better in down, in rows. So I'll do it that way. But it also said do not include DJ furniture. So I'm going to click on the drop down here. I'm going to take off DJ furniture. That means I've got all suppliers except for DJ furniture. I need to rename this worksheet NFS inventory. So I'm going to double click or right click, whichever one you want. Done. It says sort the row labels in the pivot table Z to A. So I'm going to click on the drop down, Z to A, and descending. I want to change the chart. Well, I haven't created a chart, but I can quickly do that to a 3D exploding pie chart. So if I go to Insert and Pie and 3D, there we have it. I want to add percentages to all the segments. Percentages to all the segments. So if I go to Chart Analysis and I go to Design, I can click on Add Element, Data Labels, More Data Labels, and I can put in percentages and take out the values. But it's not nice to have the figures inside, because if one of these colours are too dark, you won't be able to read the figures. So always make sure the figure's on the outside. It says rotate the pie chart so that York retail segment is on the right hand side of the pie chart. So if I click here, click on the chart, right click, I can go to 3D rotation. I want York retail to be on the right. So York retail is blue. So I want this one to come down here. That will do. I want to extract or explode only York retail segment from the rest of the pie chart. So I'm going to click on York, making sure that the circles are only around York. Left click, hold, drag out, and there we've done that. It says resize the pie chart so all segments can be seen. So if you think that's too short, from the corner, left click, hold, drag out. I want to add the title, total inventory cost from non-furniture suppliers. Now either I could double click here and enter the title, or I could go to pivot chart analysis, design, add chart labels, chart title, and then above the chart. Either way is fine. It says move the chart legend to the bottom right hand corner of the chart. So I want it in the bottom right. So I could either click on the legend in the middle when I get a four-headed arrow and move it down. And we finished C. So I want to save my work. Oh, I missed one out. Change retail York segment only to a bright yellow. So I want to click on there, on the segment, and I want to change that to a bright yellow. I could either go to the paint can, choose yellow. D, in the summary worksheet, we need to apply data validation for the whole of column E, so that only the list approved of the suppliers shown in G3 to G7 can be used when the drop-down box for each cell in column E. So back to summary, and it's saying I want to do a data validation for the whole of column E. So I'm going to highlight the whole of column E, not the heading. I'm going to go to data, validation, which I can't find. Let me open this up a bit. There it is. As I want to do the list, I will click on list, and as I've got the source, I'm going to click on the box, and I'm going to choose the suppliers there and click OK. So now what I've got here is, when I click on one drop down, the names of the suppliers are there for me to select. It says when you choose any cell in E, the message should say, please choose from the drop down list. So I didn't put that on. So let me go back, highlight my data, go back to data validation, input message. I'm going to paste that there. Please choose from the drop-down list. And it says a suitable warning if the user tries to manually enter a supplier that is not approved on the list. So error alert, and I want a warning. This is not an approved supplier. Please select from list provided. Okay, so as you can see, it says please choose from the drop down list, which is the info. And if I try and type something in and enter, it's saying this is not an approved supplier, please select from the list provided. So we have now finished D. Okay, it says ensure that only the list of approved suppliers G3 to G7 is protected using password 123 so that nobody can change the list without the code. Now, please note that every cell is locked. So the first thing we need to do is deselect the locked. So magic triangle, right click, format cells. Protection, untick the lock. Okay, now I can select the cells that I want, right click, format cells, lock them. So now when I go to password protect, it will password protect only those cells. The others I will still be able to write in. So I'm going to go to review, protect sheet. I want the password to be 123 and I need to verify that. 123 and I'm going to click OK. Now if I select here, I can change it. Not a problem. But if I click here, I'm getting an error message saying this is protected, you cannot change it, you need to enter the password. And there we have it. Task 2.1 is now complete. I'm going to save my work so I don't lose it.